A very good morning to all of you. Students, today we are going to discuss about the factors affecting elasticity of demand. In the previous class, we learned about elasticity of demand, how demand and price are related to each other, various degrees of elasticity of demand. Now today we are going to discuss about the various factors affecting elasticity of demand. The very first goes about nature of the commodity. That what is the nature of the commodity? Is that commodity a luxurious commodity or that commodity is a necessity commodity? On the basis of that, the elasticity of demand will be calculated. The demand for essential goods like your medicines and food materials is inelastic because we cannot leave these commodities for the time period. Even if the price is increasing, we need to consume those goods. So the demand for essential goods or the necessities will always be having inelastic demand. However, we say about luxurious goods, the demand for luxurious goods is mostly elastic. Suppose if the price of AC rises, then we can leave that AC for the time being and we can demand it over after few months. So that kind of demand becomes elastic when we are leaving the commodity for a while based on some time period because your price has increased. But if you are not going to leave that commodity, even if the price has increased, that kind of demand is considered as your inelastic demand. The next is proportion of income spent. Now it completely depends on how much income proportion we are spending on that particular good. If it is greater, then what will be the elasticity? If it is lesser, then what will be the elasticity? The goods on which we spend smaller proportion of our income are generally inelastic. For example, if we talk about milk, salt, pencil, matchbox, etc. So these kind of goods are considered as inelastic demand. The consumer does not bother about the change in their prices, for example, salt, matchbox or pencil. Moving on to the next. Next is several uses. The commodities which have several uses like electricity, coal, etc. have elastic demand. Any change in price will encourage consumer to use them for new purpose. If the price falls from 30 to 20, definitely we are going to use that more frequently. And if the price rises from 50 to 60 per unit, then any rise in price will definitely lead us to use it on basically more urgent manner. If we talk about electricity, if the price of electricity goes high, then definitely we use it on majorly urgently basis. But if we talk about electricity price goes down, then we'll definitely try to use it for some new purposes as well. So if the commodity is having several uses, then it will have elastic demand. Next is habits and addiction. If you are completely addicted to any product, then you cannot leave that product. And when you are not able to leave that product for the time being, then that demand is considered to be as your inelastic demand. Demand for liquor and cigarette is inelastic because the consumer is addicted to them and the consumer will not leave that commodity even if the price of the commodity increases. So habits and addiction makes it again as a factor affecting the price elasticity of demand. Income level. Rich people do not bother much about price rise. So even if the price is rising, they will still consume those products. That do not reduce consumption even if price rise. So it completely depends what is your income. If you belong to rich category of society, then definitely any rise in price will not affect your consumption of that commodity. Next is availability of close substitutes. If the goods have close substitute, as we discussed about the demand also, like for example, Coke and Pepsi, tea and coffee. If any change in the price of tea, you can definitely demand for coffee. So the goods that have close substitutes have elastic demand. That is, you can leave that commodity for the time being. If the price of tea rises, you can switch over to the coffee, leaving the quantity of demanded of tea as it is. So The goods that do not have close substitutes, they have inelastic demand. For example, your salt, that does not have any substitute, so you are going to have inelastic demand for that product. Students, now we are going to discuss about the percentage change method, that is proportionate method of calculating price elasticity of demand. That is how we are going to calculate that price elasticity. In this method, elasticity is measured as a ratio of percentage change in quantity demanded of a commodity to its price. So the formula for ED goes as percentage change in quantity demanded divided by percentage change in price, or we can even denote it by as, or the numerical formula says as delta Q divided by delta P into P upon Q. This delta Q denotes your change in quantity, that is from Q1 to Q2, change in price denoted by P1 to P2, original price and the original quantity as it was given in the question. We are going to write it down as it is. Let us have a look over the numerical question. Let's say the demand for a commodity falls by 40% due to rise in its price by 20%. Now we have been asked to calculate price elasticity of demand. As we all know, elasticity of demand is calculated by the percentage change in quantity demanded divided by the percentage change in price. And in this question, already we are having the percentage change in quantity demanded and the percentage change in price as given in the question as 40% and 20%. So we are going to write it down as it is. The percentage change in quantity demanded is 40%. Now, why we have written negative sign over here? Reason being the demand for commodity has fallen, but there is a rise in price. So there is a negative or the fall in their quantity demanded. That's why we are going to denote it as minus 40. And percentage change in price will be denoted as positive 20. So ED will be denoted as minus 40 divided by 20, which gives you as minus 2%. And since unitary elasticity demand is equal to 1, and the numerical formula solved over here gives you as 2. So the demand is greater than unit elastic over here, that is greater than 1, and when the ED is greater than 1, it is known as your elastic demand. Moving ahead, the next is price of a commodity falls by 10%. Its demand increases from 40 to 60 units. Calculate elasticity of demand. Students, in the previous question, we were already given with percentage change or percentage increase or percentage fall. In this question, we are being given with the percentage as well as it is also talking about demand which is increasing from 40 to 60 units. So the 40 over here becomes your Q1 and 60 over here becomes your Q2, and we have to see the change in quantity over here. Now over here price is falling. So when the price is falling, definitely percentage change in price will be denoted as minus 10. Now the percentage change in quantity will be calculated as delta Q divided by Q into 100. That is, delta Q will be denoted as 60 minus 40, which will give you around 20 units, and since Q is 40, so 20 by 40 into 100 gives you as 50%. Elasticity of demand will be 50 divided by minus 10, which gives you as minus 5 as your elasticity of demand, and since again it is greater than 1, it becomes your elastic demand. The third question says, when price of a commodity falls by 3%, its demand rises by 9%. Calculate price elasticity of demand. Again, percentage change in quantity demanded divided by percentage change in price. Percentage change in quantity is equal to 9 and percentage change in price is denoted by minus 3. So ED is equal to 9 divided by minus 3, which gives you as minus 3. So again it is elastic demand. Moving ahead, the price of a commodity rises 5%, its demand falls by 5%. Calculate price elasticity of demand. As you can see that the change in quantity is equal to the change in price, that is both of them are 5 over here. However, one is rising and one is falling, so definitely they will be having negative relation. So ED will be 5 divided by minus 5, which gives you as minus 1. Since ED at 1 indicates unitary elastic demand, thus it is unitary elastic demand. The next is price of a commodity increases from rupees 10 to rupees 15. Demand falls by 40%. Calculate elasticity of demand. Now let us have a look over here. Percentage change in quantity is minus 40. Percentage change in price will be calculated as delta P divided by P into 100. That is, delta P will be 15 minus 10, which gives you as 5, and P is 10. So 5 divided by 10 into 100 gives you 50%. So elasticity of demand will be minus 40 divided by 50, which gives you as 0.8, and it is less than 1. Then it will be considered as your inelastic demand. Moving ahead, price of a commodity falls from 10 to 8, demand increases from 40 to 50. In the previous question, there was a percentage given in one or the other question, but over here we have to calculate percentage change in price also and percentage change in quantity also, and through that we are going to calculate the elasticity of demand. Now let us see. Delta Q is denoted by 50 minus 40. That is change in quantity, that is demand increases from 40 to 50. So 50 minus 40 gives you 10 units. Now delta P is denoted by change in price. So price of commodity falls from rupees 10 to rupees 8. So delta P will be calculated as P2 minus P1, that is 8 minus 10 gives you minus 2. P is 10, that is original quantity. Q is 40, that is original quantity. ED will be calculated as 10 divided by minus 2 into 10 by 40. That is delta Q 10, delta P minus 2, P 10, Q 40. And by solving this question, we get as minus 1.25, which is again greater than 1, having elastic demand. And the last question for the session today, price of a commodity falls from rupees 10 to rupees 6 per unit. Its demand increases from 40 to 80 units. Calculate price elasticity of demand. In the similar process, we calculate as delta Q 80 minus 40 gives you as 40, because demand is increasing from 40 to 80. 40 is your Q1 and 80 is your Q2. Delta P 6 minus 10, because the price of commodity falls from rupees 10 to rupees 6. This rupees 6 is your P2 and rupees 10 is your P1. So 6 minus 10 gives you minus 4. Now original price 10, original quantity 40. Putting it in the formula, 40 divided by minus 4 into 10 by 40 gives you as minus 2.5, which is again greater than 1, that is greater than minus 1 even. Call it as elastic demand. So this completes the numericals for the price elasticity of demand. Thank you so much, students.